Hello everyone, welcome back. This is James, also known as the SADI-S guy. I wanted to do a video today. I just reached a four-month anniversary of my surgery. And if you haven't been following along, I urge you to go back and watch some of my older videos where I talk about my progress and about the surgery itself. And I'm not going to go into all that today. I basically had a what is a modified duodenal switch procedure, October 27th, 2014. And I've been making videos, you know, kind of documenting my progress. And what I wanted to talk about today was I got a comment from one of my subscribers. Basically, she was worried about the kinds of things I'm eating, and you know, I went back and watched the video that she made the comment on, and I can kind of see why she would think that, and maybe I have let on the wrong impression in that video and maybe some others. So I'm going to attempt to, in this video, clarify some of those things. This is my second take on it. The first one I got really long-winded, so I'm going to go fast and hope to try to get this thing down in a reasonable amount of time. You'll hear me say things like I can eat anything I want, and when I say that, what I mean is I could tolerate most anything that I would want to eat. The things I don't tolerate really well are chicken, turkey, eggs are iffy, and there's some other things here and there, but those are the main things that I can't tolerate. But as far as like, I can eat ice cream or cake or whatever, and it doesn't cause me any adverse reaction. I can eat steak and pork chops and ham and sausage and bacon and all that kind of thing, and it doesn't cause me any problem. I can eat fast food, it doesn't cause me any physical problem. So when I say I can eat whatever I want, that's basically what I'm referring to. I will say that you know, after kind of watching that video again, I did see this lady's point in her comment about eating fast food and things like that, and I will kind of clarify some of that now. When I'm making my videos, my target audience is the person who is obese and is considering the option of surgery. I'm not really, I mean, I like having anybody that wants to, you know, watch, but that's the person I want to reach in terms of providing them information about my journey, you know, what kinds of things I have experienced, you know, and if it's somebody else who's had surgery and they've got questions or whatever, I don't mind helping them out, and that's fine. But when I was saying about I could eat a Burger King double cheeseburger, I don't eat that. I can tell you the last one of those I had. It's been well over a month ago. And I don't eat those. I only eat those things like if we're really in a hurry and we're on the road, and you know, that kind of deal. But the reason I use that as an example of what I could eat is because the target audience of my channel is that person who hasn't had weight loss surgery yet, the person who's thinking about it. And if I said, you know what, I can eat a 4-ounce piece of meat or whatever, to most people, they don't really understand how much that is. I know before I started attending all these nutrition classes and things like that, I would not have known what kind of portion size that really is. But when I say I can eat the small double cheeseburger from Burger King, most people, at least most people who probably would be considering weight loss surgery, have an idea of what kind of portion size that is. Those patties are about eighth of an ounce each, or 1/8 pound, which would be about 2 ounces each, and so that would be, 2 of those patties would be about 4 ounces. So that's why I use that analogy. I mean, I could have said I can eat a 4-ounce piece of ground beef. Well, again, not a lot of people can relate to that. That's why I use that analogy. As far as the eating the fast food breakfast like the Bojangles or the Hardee's or whatever, that's something I let myself have as a treat about once a week. Occasionally I might have it twice a week, but that would be rare. Usually just once a week, and usually on Fridays. My wife and I will stop and get breakfast on the way to work. We ride together, we carpool. So it's something I kind of look forward to during the week, and that's kind of like, you know, I have let myself have ice cream for a snack, maybe once or twice a week. You know, I'm not a really hardliner on a lot of those things, because I've done that in the past and I've lost weight, and then what happens is I get off the bandwagon a little bit, or you know, I make a couple bad choices and I'm completely off the bandwagon. Well, what I've figured out is by allowing myself to have that biscuit on Friday, or to have that thing of, you know, that little small helping of ice cream a couple times a week, it helps me make better choices at other times. Okay, so what I mean is 6 days a week I'm going to have basically nothing but protein for breakfast. Well, on the 7th day or whatever, Friday, 1 out of the 7 days, I'm going to let myself have a biscuit and basically junk food, because that's something I really enjoy. Well, it helps me to be able to look forward to that and to make better choices, knowing that if I wait a couple more days, you know, whatever, I can have that thing I want. In terms of our lifestyle, we do, you know, I'm really busy. I work a 40-hour week with about a 2-hour commute, you know, an hour each way, every day, 5 days a week. So that's, you know, a considerable amount of time. And we have a daughter that's, you know, really young, and she takes up a lot of time in terms of we have to bathe her and feed her and do everything basically for her. She's not independent really at all. And then I have a part-time business I run for about 20 hours a week, you know, sometimes 30, even up to 40 hours a week on really, really busy weeks. So as far as preparing you know, some kind of intricate meal at home, you know, with something that takes a lot of prep time, a lot of cook time, we just don't have that time. So we end up typically eating out a lot. And the kinds of places we eat, we don't eat a lot of the Burger King and McDonald's. You know, if we do have to pick up fast food, I prefer like a Chick-fil-A, even though chicken is not doesn't sit the best on my stomach. I know that it's at least it's fresher food. It looks like a real piece of chicken instead of something you get at some of these other fast food places. I'm not sure it says chicken, but it don't look like chicken. Does that make sense? So you'll hear me say I maybe ate at Chick-fil-A or you know, whatever, but the truth of the matter is most of the places we eat are like Cracker Barrel. I can eat very well at Cracker Barrel. I can eat a hamburger steak. That's a good bariatric food. The pot roast, it's not bad. I love the fish they have on Fridays. So there's a variety of things there, and plus the breakfast, you know, that they have, the sausage and eggs and all that, bacon. For you know, other places we like to eat, Mexican place, I eat the fajitas, no tortillas, no rice. I will eat a few chips, but for the most part, I just stick with the meat and the you know, the peppers and onions, and our Mexican place puts tomatoes in the fajitas. But that's a really good bariatric food. Go to Chinese, I get the hibachi, where, you know, it has the vegetables, and the I get beef or shrimp or both, and get them to, you know, they cook it on the hibachi there and stir fry it. I know these aren't necessarily the best choices in terms of sodium and some of the other things you run into with food that's cooked at a restaurant, but in terms of the carbohydrates, the basics, you know, I'm really trying to watch my carbs most of the time. I do have some here and there, but for the most part, I watch the carbs. A typical day for me would be, this is what would be like a typical of what I would eat. Well, I'll give you what I ate for today so far. It's just after lunch. For breakfast, I had a piece of sausage. Okay, nice sausage link. And I didn't have a snack this morning because I got started kind of late, and I got to work a little bit late, so I didn't get to go to my break this morning. But a typical morning, I would have like some beef jerky, or I like the little trail mix. It's basically nuts, raisins, and a few M&Ms in it. But the majority of that is made up of the peanuts, cashews, almonds, things like that. So there's a few carbs in that, but mostly protein. That's a great great snack. Cheese, string cheese, pieces of cheddar cheese, whatever. Occasionally yogurt, although I did get a little burnout on yogurt during my soft food stage and stuff like that. Those are the kind of things I like for snacks. For lunches, I usually bring like a chili or leftovers from like the Mexican place or whatever, leftovers from the Chinese place. Same kind of thing as what I was describing a while ago, mostly protein. I will make like a meat sauce with, you know, that you would put over pasta. That I make mine really more like chili. It's just mainly meat with a little sauce to it, and I bring that with no pasta. That's a good lunch. Occasionally I'll use bring like a microwave cheeseburger if I don't have any leftovers or whatever. Again, it's maybe once every couple weeks. It's not something I have. I mean, most of the time I'm eating what I would consider high quality foods. Afternoon snack, about the same as the morning snack. Dinner, I've already talked about some of the dinners out. I also cook things like pot roasts that can go in a crock pot, pork roast go in a crock pot. I love a steak on the grill. Just a steak, no baked potato, no bread, no salad, just the meat. When the vegetables are coming back in season, I'll probably get back into eating the squash and zucchini and all that. As long as I've got my protein in, I will probably focus on vegetables more at dinner because I like the fresh vegetables. So that's kind of, and then, you know, for evening snack, either some of the trail mix or once in a while, like I said, the ice cream or a cookie or a piece of cake or whatever, or sometimes the beef jerky, or sometimes a little snack, you know, some more of what I had for dinner if I had leftovers or whatever. That's the kind of things I'm eating. You know, again, as far as the salt content goes, I haven't really paid much attention to that. Now, if my blood pressure shows up high, then I might have to worry about that or whatever. But and the fat, you know, the fat is really to a sleeve gastrectomy patient, to a lat band patient, to a Roux-en-Y patient, fat is going to be a problem. To a duodenal switch patient, because of the bypassing of the intestines, from what I've been able to read, most duodenal switch patients only absorb about 20% of the fat they take in. So your body needs fat, and so I don't necessarily worry about, you know, hey, I ate sausage or I ate bacon. You know, these are fatty meats. To a duodenal switch patient, most of that comes out, and I mean, I can see it come out. I don't want to get too graphic, but I know I'm not absorbing all the fat I ate. And as a matter of fact, I took the nutritionist's advice to start with, and I was eating like low fat, and man, my skin got so dry, my hair got so dry, caused constipation a little bit, and I decided to do some research, and from what I found, most duodenal switch patients take in large amounts of fat. So I've tried that, and I've been losing weight. Okay, my hair's been much better shape, my skin's been much better shape, and my constipation issues have gone away. So, you know, I think I've found a good spot for myself. Now, that's not to say I could give that advice to everybody. If you've had a sleeve gastrectomy, you cannot eat like I eat. It's not going to work. If you've had Roux-en-Y gastric bypass or lat band, you can't eat all that much fat. It's not going to be good for you. But for a duodenal switch patient, our situation is a little different. And unfortunately, and I've read this from tons of duodenal switch patients online, their nutritionist gives them the same advice they give everybody: low fat, high carb, low fat, low carb, high protein on their food. Well, most nutritionists don't understand the duodenal switch, you know, what goes on with the duodenal switch and how our bodies are different in terms of processing those things. So again, I took this advice from other veteran duodenal switch patients, and that's why I eat more of the fat than some of the other people. You know, and the person who commented on my post said something about bacon is not allowed. Well, it probably is not allowed if you're a sleeve gastrectomy patient. Bacon probably is not allowed if you're a Roux-en-Y patient. For a duodenal switch patient, you know, we need the fat. Okay? It's just that simple. Bacon is a fattier food. Now, yeah, if I eat a lot of bacon or a lot of sausage, you can overdo anything. But moderate amounts, getting in the fat that my body needs, I don't feel bad about it. And so that's why you'll hear me say things like, I eat the sausage almost every day. Sausage and bacon every day for breakfast. It's just what a duodenal switch patient has to do in terms of getting in enough fat to getting into protein too. I'm going to kind of go ahead and wrap up because, like I said, I'm already at 15 minutes, 16 minutes, whatever. If you've got any questions or comments or whatever, you know, be sure to leave them. I'm not a bully. I don't try to silence anyone. I welcome comments, and this person who commented on this video, I appreciate you pointing out some of the things you did. I think I came across in a different manner than what I really wanted to come across, and I hope after explaining myself here, you know, maybe you understand that my eating is a little bit different than yours, and I'm going on recommendations not from one person or whatever. I'm going on recommendations from people who are 2, 4, 10 years down the road on this same path that I've gone down. Okay, not just one person who works in the doctor's office who's, you know, he's thin and he hasn't had any problems with obesity, and he certainly hasn't had surgery and all those kinds of things. Now, I value his advice, don't get me wrong. I value the advice of the nutritionist I had at Rex. She was really good. But, you know, in the grand scheme of things, you have to kind of take in all your sources and kind of make a plan that fits you best. Last subject I'll touch on is the sodas issue. Of course, I know soda is not good for anybody. It's something that I really love. And I was afraid when I had surgery I'd have to give it up forever, and I was prepared for that if I did. But the truth of the matter is, nutritionist said it would not hurt in terms of stretching the pouch or causing any kind of problems to have diet soda occasionally. It's not, again, it's chemicals, it's not good for you, it's bad, whatever. I got all that. You know, I don't let that stop me from smoking cigars. I don't let that stop me from, you know, bad things being bad for me from, you know, I work around chemicals. I don't know if you could see here in the background, but I'm a chemist. I work around a lot of dangerous chemicals that cause cancer and other things. So I have to balance in my life, you know, danger versus reward or whatever. And I allow myself to have 2 or 3 sodas a week as not necessarily a reward, but just as a pleasure of life. That yeah, it might be causing a problem, but I don't think it's. I think of all my issues, having a couple diet sodas a week is, in the grand scheme of things, is nothing. So, again, I think if before I had surgery, before I started changing my life, I was drinking like six cans of soda a day. You know, and if we would go out to eat, I would get the large soda and refill it a couple times and all that. That's all behind me, but I do allow myself to still have some soda. All right, I'm at 19 minutes now. I'm gonna keep this under 20. Thanks for watching. If you got any questions, any comments, I welcome them. I like having an open dialogue. Please feel free to post them up, and I'll respond accordingly. If you haven't hit subscribe, subscribe. Make sure you check out some of the old videos if you're just tuning in, and hope everybody has a great day. And if you're thinking about surgery for obesity, it's the best decision you'll ever make for your health. Trust me, live in proof.